When people think about Caldwell, Idaho, they probably think about a small town on the edge of the Treasure Valley, but there's so much more that's unfolding behind the scenes here. In this video, I sat down with Caldwell's Economic Development Director to talk about where the city's been, but more importantly, where it's going. So if you're thinking about moving to Caldwell or just want to know what's going on behind the scenes, be sure to check out this video. So we'll start out really easy question. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, what your position is here, and how you found yourself in that position.
So my name is Stephen Jenkins. I serve as Economic Development Director with the City of Caldwell. This position is more of a business liaison between the city and the business community in the city. And we are working closely with a variety of businesses, diverse businesses that span the Caldwell region as a whole.
Okay.
And we try to create jobs and investment here. I use the acronym CARE.
Okay.
So create jobs and investment. Attract new businesses to come to the area, retain businesses that currently exist here, and then hope to expand businesses that operate in Caldwell.
Okay, interesting. So for people who are considering moving to the area, what type of industry is Caldwell heavily reliant on, and then is that changing?
So Caldwell has a rich history, just going way back to when it was incorporated in 1890. And it was based on a transportation mode of travel. So the railroad is a big system here in the city. And originally it started off as really being a hub or an anchor for transportation, as I mentioned, and then ag, of course, came into play.
Right.
Shortly after, there were a bunch of folks migrating here from the Midwest. Mm-hmm. So that's definitely true to the roots here in Caldwell. Yeah. There's a ton of irrigated farmland and a lot of commodities that are grown here as well in Canyon County and Caldwell specifically. So that is tied to the heritage that's based here. So going off of some of those roots, I would say, our top industry is manufacturing in Caldwell. Okay. And then after that is healthcare and social services. Right. Then we have some retail trade in there, but then also government. So some people don't know this, but Caldwell is the county seat for Canyon County. Yep. So there's a lot of governmental offices that are based here, including Canyon County. Mm-hmm. All their administrative offices are here as well. So we're seeing a lot of continued growth there, sustained growth in those areas. And in terms of industries that are coming into form, our Sky Ranch is just outside our door here. Right. And it's about 400 acres of industrial space. Yeah. That's been created or cultivated over the past, I would say, 12 to 15 years. Mm-hmm. And it was previously an urban renewal district. So the city got creative in how we pitched those properties to developers. Mm-hmm. And we made those sites what we call in our industry shovel ready. So we put infrastructure in the ground and just prep the soil, no pun intended, just to get things ready for future development to occur. Yeah. And we were very successful in our recruitment efforts to bring new industries and diversify our industries that were currently here. And there's about, I would say, 65 different operators in Sky Ranch. We have 2,500 jobs. There's probably close to 3 million square feet of industrial space under roof out there. So a lot of growth. So again, 400 acres of ag land that's just been transformed. So when you guys are going out and trying to recruit businesses to come in, how do you decide which businesses you want to come in? Obviously there's some style that you want, and then what are you guys doing to get them to come in? Yeah, so I always say stay true to ourselves. So we look at the data and we say to ourselves, gosh, who are we? What do we want to reflect? And I use what they talk about in some areas of Texas, but really this modern West is what we're looking at. So of course ag is tied to our identity and our DNA. And if we can tie that in somehow, that's a tremendous advantage for the industries that are based here, because we have the basis for it, we have the historical roots, and really it's true to who we are as a city. So we love food processors. If we can get that in, that's just terrific. We actually have a group that just moved into a building in Sky Ranch, 40,000 square feet, Finlay Food Coatings, and their home base is actually in New Zealand, but they work really closely with Simplot. Okay. And they do the food coatings, the French fry coatings for Simplot French fries. So very unique industry, but again, tied to ag, and that was just a home run for us. Yeah. Just a great industry to follow. But we have some other groups that are not tied to ag that, again, help diversify our industries that are here, so that people with different skill sets, different wage ranges, we want to have anything and everything from hospitality wages to industrial groups that are coming in. Folks that can keep our talent in town is critical to our future success. And you and I were just talking about C of I and the College of Idaho and how great of an institution that is. But they just produce so many exceptional students, and we want to make sure that talent stays in Caldwell. So we have to create a base that allows them to be able to work here, live here, and play here in the future. Yeah. In the past, everybody was like, if you live in Caldwell, you might find a job in Caldwell, but you're probably going to be driving to Boise, commuting to Boise or Meridian for work.
the goal is to have more jobs in Caldwell so people can live, work, and have their whole life in Caldwell instead of having to commute.
That's right, 100%.
Okay.
So we do not want to be a bedroom community. So our goal is to have an identity outside of the different cities in the Valley.
Yeah.
And I think the Valley as a whole has achieved that and done really well with that. You look at all the cities that are here that make up the Boise Metro or the Treasure Valley as a whole, and they're very distinct. I mean, despite being close in proximity, you have different attributes that make you stand out. So here in Caldwell, we have the wine region, we have a downtown, we have a water system called Indian Creek that runs through our downtown. Yeah. And of course the Boise River is here. We want to accentuate that at some point in the future and move forward with different ways to connect people to the water. Right. And get new developments across the Boise River. So those things are all on our radar. And we look forward to continue to build on the components that are based here already. Right. So that's huge for us.
So what's the, looking to the future, like 10, 20 years down the road? I mean, you guys have the space. A lot of other towns don't have the space to do it. You've got these major thoroughfares like Interstate 84, 2026, and all the businesses are coming here. I mean, people are coming from downtown Boise just to hang out in Indian Creek Plaza. What's the ultimate goal for the area?
I would say, so that phenomenon did not take place years ago. Yeah. Caldwell has a rich history, as I mentioned, but some of the history is rather grim. I mean, it's just, our story is much like a David and Goliath. It is pretty remarkable. And I've been here 6 years, so I'm telling some of this secondhand, but I would say in the 90s, we were struggling to get investment into the city of Caldwell, and we had to find a way to rejuvenate ourselves, more or less, and revitalize different parts of the city that had suffered from disinvestment or just, I think the reputation of the city was in on a tenuous base, if you will. And so we were really struggling with that, particularly here with the locals. I would say those from out of state don't carry those feelings about Caldwell, but the locals here have it's taken a long time for them to adjust, I think. And maybe some of it was warranted, some not. Yeah. But I would say that there was certainly an element of, hey, don't go to Caldwell, you might get hurt kind of thing, right? Back years ago, I would say probably 20 years ago, that was the case. So the administration previously, and I had the chance to work under Mayor Nancolas, who served with the city of Caldwell for about 24 years, as mayor at least. And he just was an exceptional visionary and helped build Caldwell's base. He and many others, the city council was a phenomenal group at that time. And the community as a whole just came together. The biggest project, I would say, I'd put it on the radar for the top project ever in this valley, was the uncovering of Indian Creek. I mean, if you could see the twists and turns of that story, it's pretty phenomenal. I don't want to take up all our time today talking about it, but it's just a great investment for the city. Yeah, absolutely. And has been transformative to our growth. It probably took about 8 years to uncover in its entirety. Okay. We had a car wash in 2001 that fell into the creek. So let me backtrack a little bit more. 1936 to 1966, the creek was covered with concrete. Yeah. Because at the time, people were like, hey, this creek is just a dumping ground for anything and everything. I mean, uncovering it was like a treasure hunt, and some of it was not great treasure to find. So there was some of that, but the uncovering the creek was not just Indian Creek, it was also infrastructure. So sewer pipes and other components of infrastructure that were in our downtown that needed to be replaced over time. So multi-million-dollar project that was fulfilled in downtown Caldwell to prep the ground for where we're at today. So that was just exceptional for us. And the uncovering took place in the early 2000s, and then was satisfied after the downturn, and it took some time for it to come into form. Yeah. But now you go down there and it's just an exceptional natural attribute that's in our downtown that really sets us apart.
Absolutely. Is there anything in the near future that you're particularly excited about that you guys are working on right now?
Yes, we have a few things in the cooker, shall we say, and I love sports. I think there's tremendous value in the natural landscape that we have and the ability to go from the Treasure Valley to the mountains in a really short time frame. Yeah. That's exceptional. Right. You can't do that in many places. No. So I love that here. But just to answer your question, we have some things on the horizon. So again, love sports. So we're going to look at connecting Caldwell to a healthier lifestyle via sports and via athletics. So we're looking at different models throughout the country that could perhaps fit our community and bringing a new sports feel to the area. We installed 8 pickleball courts at Luby Park recently. It's been a phenomenal hit for us. Yeah. Pickleball is just, I don't know what it is, but it's just taken, it's hitting the, it really is becoming a phenomenon across the country.
Yeah.
So we want to tap into that as much as we can, but not just pickleball, but all sports, and bring that to the community. We're also looking at an interchange at Ustick Road, and that's really off I-84, and you mentioned this previously, but I-84 runs through Caldwell.
Yeah.
So how do we take advantage of that and our proximity to the freeway and ability to develop land that is close to the freeway? So right now there's the Karcher Road interchange, and then you have Franklin Road. So there's a 4-mile gap. So exit 29 to exit 33. In the past, I've made mistakes where I get on the freeway and I say, oh man, I got to get off, and it's 4 miles until you can make that adjustment, right? So one of those things. Or if there's an accident, God forbid, or something like that on I-84, there's just no way out. So it makes sense for us to look at Ustick as being in the middle and saying, hey, this could be exit 31. So you got exit 33, exit 31, exit 29. So exit 31 right there. And just focusing on how we can look at developing that land into the next, wave of the shopping center or an environment like that could be commercial, retail commercial oriented. We look at 10 Mile and its impact on the valley, and we're looking at something very similar at Ustick. So we're just excited about the future, growing into our wine region as well. Yeah. That's going to continue to be a big draw for us. It's in the Snake River American Viticulture Association. Yeah. There's a couple thousand acres out there, but that is just pristine land. The grape growing is tremendous out there. So we want to continue to tap into that and continue to make that a draw to downtown Caldwell. Yeah.
So I know you guys have worked on this in the past, and I don't know if you're still working on it, but the amphitheater that was in the, what's the situation with that over in the Sunny Slope area?
We continue to talk to that group, and luckily they've hung out with us for a few years now. It always is a process, no doubt about it, and identifying a site that is most appropriate for an amphitheater is quite difficult, I've come to learn. But they have found a site at this point, and they're looking at locating there and getting things set up. So they're still very much on the hook, and we're excited for the possibilities of them coming and the opportunities that they'll provide to the city.
So just because I haven't covered this in channel, can you just give a brief synopsis of what that all encapsulates?
Yes, so this particular group is actually they run a facility outside of the state of Idaho. Okay. And so they're very familiar with the industry. They understand how shows operate and what they could possibly bring to the Treasure Valley. This area is somewhat underserved. I mean, there's some great facilities here, but certainly we have the capacity to grow. As we grow population-wise, we're slightly under 1 million people in the Treasure Valley, but we're getting closer and closer to that number each day. So when we break that threshold, I do see opportunities for bigger shows, a variety of shows. So they would bring more of a boutique style amphitheater here, very high end, but it would fill a void here that is in the valley where folks can find a place to play that they haven't found a place to play in the past.
So we're talking like live music, sports?
More live music. You'll have some entertainers perhaps maybe some comedians, something on that level. I'm just going off of what they do out of state. Okay. But they can certainly bring some entertainment to the valley that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, cool. That's interesting. Here's a new one. So how does, when you guys are going in and getting business and you want businesses to come here, are you focusing more on big box stores, or do you guys want to bring like small businesses and entrepreneurs to the area? And how are you differentiating between those?
Yeah, that's a great question. And Caldwell has really struggled, I would say historically, with what we call in our industry retail leakage. So that means that money is leaving your community and going elsewhere. Gotcha. So Nampa's done a tremendous job over time with recruiting different big box users, retail commercial users. But as a consequence to that, Caldwell citizens have shopped over there. I know I certainly do. Others that live in the community or that are part of the Caldwell community, they have to, in some cases, go to other communities to find the products that they need. So any community that wants to be well-rounded has to fill that void somehow. And we've worked tirelessly to get that done. I actually attend a conference each year. It's called ICSC, so International Council of Shopping Centers. And there are about 50,000 people at that conference. It is an absolute madhouse. Interesting. But all of the big boxes, most of them are represented there. And you have a chance to meet with them one-on-one, and you talk about your community. And in some cases, you show them sites that might be most appropriate for them to locate to. And those are ways to create relationships, which in this industry is just so important to have those kinds of relationships where you can pick up the phone and say, hey, there's an opportunity here, you should look at this. Or check us out, here we are. In some cases you introduce them to Caldwell, but in other cases you're just solidifying what they already know.
Okay.
So we have been diligent in our approach of recruiting folks. We just announced a Fred Meyer that will come here soon, and they are looking to break ground later this year, or early of quarter or early next year, Q1 of next year.
Okay.
But it's 155,000 square feet, and it'll be their first store in roughly a decade.
Interesting.
So yeah, in the valley at least.
Wow.
So we're super excited to welcome them. We have a Home Depot under construction right now that is about 110,000 square feet, and they'll be open in October. And we have a lot of retail commercial that's going to follow. When you have anchored sites, like grocery anchored sites like that, what you see around them in the periphery, in most cases, you'll see fast food, you'll see banks, you'll see, fast casual business operators. So that's all terrific. But just to go off of your question about small businesses, we love local. In Caldwell, it's just a huge emphasis for us.
Yeah.
So in our downtown, as a means to stay unique, we want to create an environment that you can't replicate elsewhere.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the draw to Caldwell from areas like Boise and Eagle and Star and elsewhere, but Amano has just been a tremendous example of what that pipeline could look like.
Yeah.
I eat there frequently, and each time I go, I don't recognize very many people, if any at all. So that is a very interesting phenomenon in downtown Caldwell that just wasn't evident in the past. So we just want to create a unique atmosphere that you can't replicate on Amazon or anywhere else in America. So that's a goal of ours.
So one of the major concerns that people have with all the growth, of course, I mean, I'm born and raised in the area. They're like, we don't want to lose that agricultural feel. They'd rather see a field in an area than a subdivision with a bunch of cookie cutter homes. The span of Caldwell is absolutely huge. I mean, you reach all the way up to almost Parma area, and then even south of Nampa over by the Snake River. Do you guys have anything in place to maybe preserve some farmland or the agriculture, agritourism feel while still growing? Because you guys have the room for the growth?
Yes. So we actually are working very closely with Canyon County. And as I mentioned, their offices are based here in Caldwell, so they're very close to us. And it is absolutely essential to be able to work with your county counterparts to plan for the future. At the rate of growth that we're experiencing in Caldwell, and we're at like roughly 21.5% from 2020 to 2024 growth-wise. We were just recently tabbed as 51st fastest growing city in the country, and first in Idaho, of course. And that is just going back to our history. I mean, who knew that this area would grow at the rate that it is? I think if anybody knew, they would probably bought 1,000 acres. Each person would own 1,000 acres that has grew up here or knew or had any inkling that would be the case. But it's just one of those things where we are certainly grappling with that on the ground and trying to design and plan accordingly as we grow and growing to form the way that we feel Caldwell is set up to do and take advantage of the opportunities that we have ahead of us. So what we did was we recently we pulled back our area of city impact from Chicken Dinner Road, so going west of here, almost out to Sunny Slope. So we pulled it from Chicken Dinner Road to Wagner Road. So that it's a planning area for us, but we're just not encroaching into those more, I would say, coveted areas of agricultural land that's out there. So it's just always a balance. And then finding that balance is going to be essential. So we continue to work on that and plan in ways that work well with both the county and the city.
Interesting. Okay, what is your favorite thing about Caldwell?
So that is actually really hard to encapsulate. I would say for me, it is the heartbeat of the city. This is a city that has a personality. It has a real feel. It is big. It's getting much bigger. We're roughly 78,000 people here. But we feel like a small town. I was recently at the Canyon County Fair, which is happening as we speak, and I just love the fact that there are real relationships here. You walk into places and people know you, they hug you, they come up to you. Just the familiarity of that is really important to me. And that's my personal favorite thing. And I love the coordination here as well. You have the College of Idaho, you have, again, the county, you have the rodeo that's based here. It's the top 5 rodeo in the country. Absolutely love the rodeo. Just those unique elements that make Caldwell very special and just set apart from other areas that I've been to. I've lived in 8 different states. So I have moved around more than I think is probably healthy. And honestly, I love the fact that I have real authentic relationships here and things that keep me connected to the community and to the city. And honestly, relationships that I personally care about, and I believe others do as well as it relates to me.
Definitely.
So that's very meaningful here in Caldwell. No matter how big we get, no matter how much we grow, I think we're going to keep remnants of that in place. And that's always special.
I like that answer. That was a really great answer.
You appreciate that.
How would you compare Caldwell to the rest of the Treasure Valley, and what do you think sets Caldwell apart?
So Caldwell to the rest of the Treasure Valley. So for one thing, we're a bookend. So you have the city of Boise to the east. And then, well, you can even go as far as Mountain Home these days, and then Caldwell to the west. As far as what I perceive is the valley. Of course, I think the Treasure Valley extends beyond Caldwell, but for the most part, in terms of larger cities that you enter from one direction to the other. So that gives us, I think, a strategic advantage as it relates to recruiting businesses and, having a footprint from folks that operate in downtown Boise that perhaps want a Western footprint. So I really see us being a Western gateway and a Western anchor, if you will. So that's something that we're going to grow into as we continue to take new forms and evolve over time. I think that's going to be huge for us. The other thing that really sets us apart is just the natural attributes of the city. We have the Boise River, we have Indian Creek, we have the Sunny Slope wine region. So, there's probably 18 or so wineries. As I say this, I'm sure there are more that are coming into. Probably, it just continues to grow out there. But those are things that make us a real tourist draw. And make the city very, very special and help people in the valley connect to Caldwell. There are things here, and it feels so different. So I was in downtown Boise this morning, and then I spent some time in Meridian for a couple meetings, and then I came over here. It feels so different when you travel through the valley and get to Caldwell, and we want to maintain that. We want that to be the case, because if you want to do a day trip out here, or you want to spend some time over the weekend, you feel like you're escaping your reality in some cases. And City of Eagle and City of Meridian and City of Boise, they're not very far, but it feels outside of the scope of your day-to-day environment that you're familiar with. So those are things that I think Caldwell has as far as advantages. And we'll continue to explore that and continue to make sure we're a tourist draw. Indian Creek Plaza was huge for us as well. Getting those local businesses down there, making it a unique atmosphere that people want to come to. It's essential. It's huge for economic development. Where people come and they patronize your downtown businesses, and then they go back home, and it's a very low impact to your community, and that's part of the economic development game. That's part of some of our objectives to get people here and to make sure that we're a huge tourist draw.
Yeah, I like that. When I've done my videos on Caldwell in comparison to the other towns, it's like when I'm writing out everything that I want to talk about Caldwell, 90% of my list is things to do. You got the Boise River, you got the Indian Creek Plaza, you got the Sunny Slope area, the Caldwell Night Rodeo, College of Idaho. There's just so much stuff to talk about, and it's like, hold on, okay, there's just so much to do in Caldwell, which is awesome. Plus the lake. I don't know if we call it Nampa's Lake or Caldwell's Lake, but it's split pretty much.
It is, and we want to do more with pedestrian pathways and trails. So we have a really vast plan for that, and we're going to explore those options as we grow into the future, and just make sure that there's accessibility in and around those attributes that we have. So that's going to be another thing to look out for in the future.
Yeah, that's awesome. If you had to give some advice to people who are thinking about coming and living in Caldwell, what would that advice be?
So my advice, just in general, is, gosh, I'll tell you what we're doing on the back end. First off, we are working diligently to create a diversified housing stock. Housing affordability is a new and interesting thing to navigate for the city of Caldwell. We have been historically a more affordable, or at least those that may think about areas in the valley, they think about Caldwell as being a place where affordability exists. And we're starting to drift from that reality a little bit. So we want to, as a city, make sure that we have housing stock available for those of all interests. And that's become a lot more important to economic development, because when you're recruiting businesses, you're also recruiting their employees. In some cases, they're hiring new employees, but in others, sometimes they're relocating employees from other areas or different parts of the valley. And so it's very important that you have the housing stock to accommodate the new growth that you anticipate in the business front. So having that alignment and that balance is really important. But if I were just thinking through moving to Caldwell and looking at that, I would look at the Valley View School District is here, Caldwell School District here. We have a number of charter schools. We actually have one that's a Spanish immersion program, so heritage charter, right, where they speak Spanish at school there, and it's just we have one that accommodates the arts. We have one that's focused more on STEM. So a variety of educational options. And I think that way, just because I have 4 boys myself, my wife and I do, and we always think in terms of educational opportunities and recreational opportunities as well. Okay. There's a tremendous amount of park space here. We have 14 parks and growing in Caldwell. Yeah. And we're starting to improve our playgrounds within those parks. I mentioned the pickleball course that we've added. So all those things are very, very important. Caldwell Fine Arts is also based here. So we're trying to tap into different shows and having venues for that. So again, we just want to make Caldwell a place that is inviting for all. So I love sports, but not everybody carries that passion. Right. So just making sure that the city has options for anybody and everybody that moves in.
Awesome. Anything else you want to add that you think might be useful to the viewers?
I just thank you so much for the opportunity to interview with you. It's been a lot of fun. Enjoy the conversation. And I will say that Caldwell is just scratching the surface of our potential. We are growing into form as we speak. Yeah. We're sitting here at the airport. It's the busiest airport in the state, according to takeoffs and landings, but it's just, even our airport is just going to continue to grow and expand over time. Very exciting things that are coming to the city. I think getting here at this point in our evolution is probably the right time to do it, because Caldwell is going to be unrecognizable in the future, but in good ways. We're going to stay true to our roots and our heritage, right, but also continue to grow the right way and grow together as a community. So again, this is just a great place to be. It's a fantastic place to work. I've been here 6 years. Look forward to what the future holds for me here, me and my family, and just an exceptional place to be a part of. I'm very, very fortunate and blessed to be a part of the city.
Cool, I appreciate that.
Hey, thanks so much. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to watch my full breakdown on the city of Caldwell, where I interviewed the chief of police to dispel some myths about the town. Until next time, I'm Isaac Crace with Top Idaho Real Estate.